that, let's go ahead and move on to topic number 6. And you know, I don't blame these people at all. I agree with them 100%. This is some BS, and if I was in their position, I would be doing the exact same thing. And Emily Blunt wants to know where her money is. You know, and I definitely don't blame her. You know, and so I have the report right here. This is Bloomberg, and it says A Quiet Place stars think Paramount owes them money. The studio is shortening the film's theatrical run, threatening their potential payday. And there is Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. Paramount Pictures is in a payday dispute with a Hollywood power couple over the studio's streaming plans for the new horror picture, A Quiet Place 2. According to a person familiar with the matter, creating a behind-the-scenes drama that could affect the income of other big stars. The couple, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, have a contract that compensates them based on the film's box office performance, but Paramount, owned by Viacom CBS Inc., has cut the film's exclusive run in theaters in half to 45 days. To 45 days from 90, and is scheduled for its May 28th release, when some chains will still be operating at limited capacity. And so, just real quick, I just want to say, hell yeah, I would be mad too, because I mean, as we all know, these actors, actresses have back-end deals, and like the report just says, you know, that's smart, and they are going to get paid off of the box office receipts. But if you're cutting the window in half, that's cutting their paycheck in half. And, you know, when they signed on the dotted line, you know, they were under the impression that it was going to be a 90-day theatrical window. And so I would be pissed as hell. So I agree with them 100%. I would be mad too. But Elliot, first, I want to thank you for being here on the show, sir. I do really appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm going to come to you first on this one, man. How are you feeling about John Krasinski and Emily Blunt being pretty upset about this 90-day theatrical window being cut to 45 days and potentially taking money out of their pockets?
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, I would be upset, you know, knowing that I was supposed to get a paycheck, you know, and the back end stuff, and things kind of change up. But I would imagine, I mean, of course, the headline reads this now, but I would imagine just like a lot of the celebrities and directors and actors were upset about the HBO situation, that they probably figured it out and they're going to take care of them behind the scenes. I would imagine to make a start, especially what they want to do at Quiet Place 3, and they want to do like a spinoff. So I'm pretty sure the Krasinskis and Emily Blunt will get paid, especially once the numbers come in for streaming services. They'll probably get some type of incentive or something of that nature. But up front, I definitely understand where they're coming from in regards to the frustration of like a studio's making this decision, especially John Krasinski. He's the director of this film, so you would think he would have a little bit of insight of them making that type of power move. But they're going to get paid regardless. Emily Blunt has, you know, working with Disney with, you know, the Jungle Cruise film. So she's going to be fine. John Krasinski's going to be fine too, but I definitely understand their initial reaction, but they'll be taken care of, I would assume.
Right on, Larry. How you feeling?
Man, I have all kinds of feelings about this. I mean, really? Yeah, I mean, part of me feels like this is just another sort of symptom of this dying movie theater business model. But also, I feel like this is going to cause probably a number of actors and production companies to go back in and have to have their contracts rewritten after the movies have already been made, and that's going to cause some problems for some people, especially from the studios primarily. But I think we're gonna see some much stiffer negotiations when people are going into for their contracts, because now all of a sudden, if you cut the theatrical window down to 45 days, people are going to say, well, before I was getting 5 points, I want 10. You know, if you're only going to, if I'm only going to get a 45-day run in the movie theaters, I want 10 points instead of 5. I need to make sure I'm going to get paid, you know, otherwise you're going to have, you know, I mean, and for some people, you may say, okay, well, you know, we'll just pay you more money. And that may be fine for some people. But some people may say, no, that's not good enough, because I'm going to be in the next Star Wars movie. I don't want just more cash up front. I want to make sure I get paid. You know, I want a piece of this project. And so I think for some folks where they may only have gotten maybe 1 or 2 points, they're going to be like, you need to double that up. You know, and I think they're going to have just cause to make that claim, and they're probably gonna get it. You know, but I mean, I think the studios are savvy and they are business minded and they have the money and they're going to control everything eventually. And I think we're going to eventually just start to see the theater is getting pushed aside because the studios are probably going to start opening up their own theaters, and they're going to control the runs. They're going to control the theater. You know, they already control their streaming stuff, and I think we're going to start to see some of these actors get pissed off because they're just not going to make as much money as they used to, because the theaters are. I mean, the studios are just going to simply say, "Nah, we're cutting these windows. We're cutting them from 90 to 45. Some of them are going to go to 30 days, and they're just going to say, we're not paying you anymore. If you don't like it, that's cool. We'll find another actor." You know,
right on.
Because it only takes one big breakout movie for somebody that's a nobody to become the next big thing. So you might be Emily Blunt and think that you're a big deal today. It doesn't take but for, you know, a 9 months, a year, 2 years for no one to give you a role before you go from being a big thing to basically a nothing.
Right on. And before I come to you, Lamont, I just have to share this as well. If you go over to Box Office Mojo, I just got to show how much, if my mic will not fall down, how much money this first film made. $340 million worldwide off of a budget of $17 million. That is a buku profit right there. Yeah. And that we all know that on average about a third of this right here goes to the theater/theater owners. And so they're rightfully upset. But Lamont, how you feeling about all this, man? Are you with the studios? Were you with Emily Blunt and the Krasinskis? John Krasinski, how you feeling, man? How you feeling?
Kind of in the middle. I would say this: I enjoyed the first movie. By the way, it was a damn good movie. They ain't had to kill the dad. Come on, man! Y'all
spoiler alert.
I'm assuming people seen the first movie by now.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, well, man,
damn!
Get your beer goggles on, brother. Start watching something. Anyway, I'm kind of and when you have these negotiations, sometimes people put in their contracts these escape clauses. And fellas, I'm about sure that some of these movie theaters have in their clauses catastrophic issues such as a damn pandemic that most actors and directors think will never happen, in which they say, we reserve the right that if some pandemic, some atomic bomb drops, whatever they want to use as their legalese, that they can augment the viewing schedule. And that's what we're sitting in right now. However, a wise black woman once told me, she said, Lamont, there are three things you don't mess with when it comes to a woman. You don't mess with her man, you don't mess with her kids, and you damn sure don't mess with the money. And of the two in this couple, it's Emily Blunt saying, damn it, I want my coins. And so I feel where they're coming from. But I agree with Elliot. Somewhere on the back end, they're going to compensate them. And all that this did right here was probably make the theaters a little upset that they put their business out there so that they can get fanfare behind them, because everybody's going to be on their side. Nobody's going to be on the side of the greedy movie theaters and stuff like that. They're going to be on the side of Emily Blunt and her husband because they're doing things that we like. And so I do believe that somehow, some way, they will get compensated on the back end. But I would love to see those contracts to see if there is any kind of escape clause in there for something like a pandemic.
Right on.
I bet you what we're going to start seeing, man, is we're going to start seeing these contracts with all kinds of different contingencies in there and accelerators where they're going to say, okay, this movie may be set for a 45-day theatrical run, but if it has a strong opening weekend or two, then we're going to expand it out maybe from 45 days to 60 days. And if it continues to do well, then we're going to move it from 60 to 90 days. And then based on how long it's in the theaters, we may see the percentage that they get off the box office receipts. It may, if they have an extended run, it may decrease. But if it's a shortened run, we may see their percentage increase. So I think we're going to see all kinds of new contracts and new clauses in there, because these people can, everybody, the actors, the studios, everybody can afford the best lawyers. And no one's going to go in there and just allow themselves to get bent over. They'll just be like, nah, forget that. I don't want to do that. I'll make my own movie if that's the case. You know, I'll go make my own indie project and spend $2 million and put it out there and make 50, and I don't even need to worry about you. Right. You know.